In this video, we're going to look at building a one-click upsell or downsell chain. Similar to the previous video, we can create a series of one-click offers for additional upsell or downsell opportunities. This is a great strategy when we have a variety of complementary products or services that enhance the original purchase. So in this video, it's simply an extension of the previous video's strategy. And so we're going to begin with that existing structure and build from there. The strategic context of this recipe is to offer a payment plan on the initial upsell product if the customer declines the original upsell, and offer a higher ticket item if they do not choose the original upsell. So specifically in this video, we're going to look at configuring an upsell landing page, a downsell landing page, and then connecting all the offers together. So at this point, we're assuming a couple of things. We're assuming that we've got the one-click upsell mechanism from the previous video already built. We're also assuming that we have an action set that creates an order for the downsell offering, and then we're also creating a second action set for the second upsell offering. And then we're also assuming we have a web page for customers who decline either of the upsell or downsell offers. So assuming we have that, let's get building. We're going to start by grabbing a web form, which will be the decline of the initial upsell. This basically says, no, I'm not interested in what you have to offer. If they choose that option, then they're going to go to the downsell landing page. And in this case, we're offering payment plans. So this would be a cookbook, payments, downsell. And then, of course, we would have a sequence afterwards to actually create the order. So that handles the downsell. And then we're going to need to do the same thing for the upsell. So we're going to put this up here. And this is if they took the original offer, which in this example was for a series of video tutorials. So we're going to actually upsell them into a personal review. When you see the content of these pages, it'll make a little more sense. And then the same thing, we need a sequence to create the cookbook review order creation. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and actually start configuring some things here. We're going to start by looking at the actual upsell, the second upsell landing page, because remember, this is the first upsell, and now here's the second one. Okay, so we have a confirmation message, which is really important, because remember, they just took the upsell. This is the first one-click upsell, and now this is the second one. Basically, a little bit of copy saying, hey, here's what you're going to get out of it. And then, just like last time, we have a hidden email field that's blank. And the call to action on the landing page is for them to accept the upsell. Now, if they don't want to take it, if they're just fine with the first upsell and that's it, we would then, of course, want to link this to the decline page. So whatever that looks like, so mywebsite.com/upsell, decline, or something like that. You'll also want to make sure that the landing page has some, again, confirmation that they have the order placed, which says, thanks first name. In this case, it's a review, so I will contact you personally to schedule your review. Okay. So at this point, the last thing to do is to make sure that in the settings we have the auto-populate form. This is critical because we're going to be passing information from the first upsell to this second upsell. So at this point, what we need to do is we need to copy this link. This is the link to the second upsell landing page. And now we can mark this as ready. What we're going to do is With that URL we just copied, we're going to go back into the original upsell page, and we're going to change the thank you page. So now, instead of the single upsell, we're going to send them to the second upsell form. And we got to pass the contact's information. So this landing page will pass the email to the hidden field of the second landing page. So the last piece of the upsell is to actually make sure that the order is created. So as I mentioned, you're going to want to already have an action set created for this second product. So this is here. And then this action set was the Infusionsoft Cookbook upsell. I'm sorry, the review upsell. There you go. And of course the reason we're using this is we cannot create orders natively in Campaign Builder. I mentioned it before, but there's probably going to be more stuff in this sequence in real life. This is functional. This will create the order. You're probably going to want to have some tags and emails and things like that. But at this point we can say this is ready. So now the upsell, the second upsell is configured. We have the landing page going, and if somebody submits this landing page, then they'll go here, asking for the second one. So now what we need to do is set up the other landing page, the downsell landing page. So just like last time, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I'll return when the content is in here. Okay, so remember, this is the downsell. So this is the confirmation message, just like we saw on the second upsell page, but it's confirming that they didn't take the initial offer for $73. So then we're, of course, just cutting them a deal, whatever the case is. The magic here, again, is having a hidden and blank email field, and the landing page button is configured for them accepting this upsell offer. And then, of course, we have a no thanks, which, just like last time, this is going to go ahead and point to whatever the decline page on your site is. So mywebsite.com/downsell decline. On our thank you page, again, we're giving a confirmation message. And in this case, since they did take the tutorials, we're just telling them, hey, they're going to get their username and password. Now, in the settings, we want to make sure that, like last time, we have the auto population checked. And then we're going to go to the code tab, and we're going to copy this link address. So again, this is the direct link to the downsell page. Now let's configure this order creation real quick because it's the same as last time. Again, we're assuming that we have an action set for the downsell, and in this case it's creating an order with a payment plan for 30 days out. So payment plan downsell, and same thing, cannot create orders natively in Campaign Builder. So again, in real life, I would probably add them to Customer Hub and tag them and send them an email, all that jazz. But again, functionally, this is what you need to know. This will create the order. You know it needs to happen once someone places it. So the last piece is actually connecting these bits together here. So we've created our upsell page. We have our downsell page. And I forgot to mark that sequence is ready. And in my clipboard, I have the URL for this downsell page. So here's what we're going to go ahead and do. Check this out. We're going to go into the Decline Original Upsell web form. And we're going to get rid of all the fields. The only thing we're going to have here is a hidden email field. And our call to action button is a no thanks. This is how people are going to decline the original upsell. So this is all that we need for this form, because the thank you page of this form is the downsell page. So we're going to paste this in here, pass the person's info, so when we take the email from the hidden field and pass it to the downsell landing page, the system will know who they are. Okay, At this point, this is ready, and we can grab the HTML code for this web form. And the reason why we're going to do that is we're going to actually embed that web form underneath this button. So this is left over from last time. This was a single one-click upsell. Either they take it or they don't. In this case, it's a downsell chain. So instead of the decline being just a no thanks with a link, it's going to be that web form we just created. So I'm going to paste in that code, and it won't show up. But when someone actually looks at the form, they're going to see something that looks like this. Now, of course, I hadn't published that web form yet, so when I publish it, it'll now say no thanks. In fact, let's just do that to prove the concept here. So I'm going to publish this. And I think this is the first time I'm publishing this sandbox campaign, so there's going to be a bunch of stuff in here. Okay. So this is the one-click upsell page, and they can either say, yes, add this to my order form, or no thanks. Now Infusionsoft's going to know who this person is because the email is going to be in the background here. So when they click yes, add my order, it's going to go ahead and send them to the upsell page. Great, you saved money. Get a personal review by Paul himself. Yes, add this to my order, or no thanks. However, going back, if they click on no thanks, then it's going to redirect them to the downsell page. And in this case, there's one setting that we missed here. And on the thank you page, we need to make sure that we redirect to the thank you page. This way, we don't get this experience here, which of course isn't what we're looking for. We want this whole page to redirect. So let me republish this real quick, and we'll go through this. Because looking at the model, it's not super obvious like what's going on necessarily, but when you're actually going through the experience, it's very fluid and you know, it doesn't look like there's a lot going on under the hood. So again, if they accept this, it redirects to the second upsell page, and it's passing the email in the back. If they say no thanks, same thing. It's going to go ahead and pass that hidden email field to the downsell page. So again, if I click here, it's going to create that downsell order, or I can just go ahead and decline it. So to sum it up in plain English, when a customer successfully places an order using the order form, they're taken to this first landing page, which presents the first one-click offering. The hidden email on the landing page is being pre-populated because we're passing it from the order form's thank you page. The decline button is actually a web form that also has its hidden email field populated. We've embedded a second form within the landing page. If they accept the offer, also known as submitting the landing page, Infusionsoft will create another order for the upsell product for that contact and then redirect them to the second landing page, which has its hidden email field populated. And if they submit this second landing page, another order will be created. However, if they decline the original upsell offer, they're actually submitting a web form, which will redirect them to the downsell landing page that will also have a hidden email field populated. And if they choose the downsell offer, Infusionsoft will create another order for that downsell offering. So as I mentioned, make sure that you're remembering any and all necessary fulfillment steps that need to happen for any of these. And keep in mind that this strategy can be extended to create a chain of different upsell or downsell offers, depending on the different offers a customer accepts or doesn't. There is no upper limit to how deep the offer chain can go. Now in this case, it's highly recommended to lay out the campaign model for clarity, so in that way we leave ourselves plenty of room for Canvas notes for comprehension and adminning. In the next video, we're going to be creating an evergreen sales funnel with an expiring offer.